You're listening to the Things Podcast, brought to you by the Things Industries.
Hi, everybody. This is Alix Paultre, and I'm today at the Things Conference with Simon Ford of Blecon. And Simon, what brings you to our show today?
Good to be here, Alex. I've known Vinke and Johan for a long time, but we've been working in Bluetooth, so we deal with Bluetooth beacon networks rather than LoRa networks. In speaking to them last year, they said they were going to widen the conference out to cover more technologies, which I think is a great idea and a great fit for us. Here to meet people that perhaps historically have only worked with LoRa or only been here for LoRa, but to see what you can do with Bluetooth Low Energy.
Well, and the interesting thing is that they can be deployed in a complementary fashion in a network.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're building beacon networks. So it's like LoRa but using Bluetooth Low Energy. But of course they have different trade-offs. Even Don, one of our other guys that works with us, he's actually doing a talk today about bringing Bluetooth Low Energy and LoRa together. To get the benefits of both of those systems. So that's quite exciting.
Well, I am seeing some code compatibility in some of the wireless systems, because like Wi-Fi 6 is code compatible with LoRa, and I'm expecting maybe one day possibly Bluetooth Low Energy would be code compatible, because once you start making more and more of these protocols code compatible, it allows things like the creation of Matter that for the household that has been happening.
Absolutely, and also there's different levels of compatibility. A lot of it is actually compatibility with workflows and how people think about building systems. So it's not just about low-level protocols. I think if people are taking a lot of this data into cloud systems, just being compatible with that and unlocking the kind of developers that are used to work on different types of data from different sources, whereas physical data. Okay, but it's still data, and I think that's really exciting. That's actually the unlock for a lot of these things.
Well, because when it comes to these kinds of deployments, it's really a two-sided coin. You've got the hardware deployment and you have the software deployment, and they have to seamlessly work together.
Absolutely, yeah. And I guess one of the things, and one of the reasons we really like Bluetooth is just how prevalent it's become. So the economies of scale you've been able to hit with Bluetooth Low Energy, thanks to mobile phones and being in all these peripherals, is exactly in the ring we are wearing. Yeah, I mean that means there's this huge ecosystem of silicon. There's a huge ecosystem of devices that already support Bluetooth Low Energy. So actually, it's not just about technical trade-offs. It's actually about adoption of technology and the cost points you can hit. We're doing some quite interesting things. Even down to embedding Bluetooth into sticky labels.
Which is in the NFC area normally.
Exactly. So you have lots of technologies for lots of different areas. So that area might have historically been RFID, NFC, or barcodes, obviously. But actually, Bluetooth is hitting such a low cost point now, and evolution in the way that you can power these stairs means that it can really get down to some quite insane low levels. But of course, it's still a high bandwidth technology. It's still a very flexible technology. So you actually get quite an interesting spectrum of use cases that it can cover.
Well, I was thinking a lot about that. Simon, when we started our conversation just a moment ago, we really are, you talking about the different methodologies that can be used, Bluetooth versus LoRa versus Wi-Fi. We are entering a multilingual, multi-protocol world. Once upon a time, people thought it would all consolidate to one lingua franca, but that's not the case. A device has got to be multilingual, multi-protocol, multi-methodology.
Absolutely, yeah. And certainly what we've seen over the years is you have these different technologies which have different physical trade-offs or economic trade-offs. But often, the consolidation point is actually in a cloud system, in an integration or something like that. So, it's been quite interesting for us where Bluetooth has perhaps been associated with just pairing a device. It's a personal device, but actually to change Bluetooth to use that more network model, the sort of more star topology be used to with like cellular or with LoRa or something like that. So actually put Bluetooth, same technology, but into that model. And therefore it be compatible with the way that most people are building systems. That's been quite exciting for us, actually.
I can imagine. Well, because again, it's not enough to have a Bluetooth only device nowadays. It's if it's a very vertical application, yes. But as we get into a more complex cloud, at the minimum, that base station now has to be multi-protocol.
Absolutely.
That micro server out in the edge has got to be multi-protocol.
Right. Yeah. So the example that Don's talking about later, where we're combining LoRa and Bluetooth, the thing we see very commonly is something like LoRa is great for raising an alert. It has a very long range, so not can't transmit maybe much information, but if you need to know something now, it's great to raise the alarm. But then actually, something like complementing that with Bluetooth that has much higher bandwidth, maybe because of the range doesn't talk home so often, but when it does, it uploads history or it downloads firmware or it commissions the system or things like that. So yeah, there's some really interesting trade-offs where you bring things together, and as you say, rather than trying to consolidate one thing that does everything well, which is often not the trade-off that's going to work, actually bringing in different technologies that are optimized for certain use cases or topologies can be really, really quite interesting and really come up with a system that works for the use case that someone's trying to build.
Now, was there anything that we had not brought up that you'd like to bring up about your company?
Well, I think we're here at the Things Conference. Come and speak to us. We're doing some pretty interesting things with Bluetooth that perhaps people haven't seen before, including devices themselves getting smarter. So people are very familiar with beacons. So the talk I'm actually giving later is how they've evolved. And I think people's perception of what they're capable of is well below actually where they got to as the state of the art. So I think for us, the fact that beacons are getting smarter and really one of the most successful IoT technologies out there, people need to be reminded of that.
Well, I'm glad you're here to remind us of that.
Exactly. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, well, Simon, it's really been a pleasure for me as well, and I'm really glad you took the time to chat with us at this very busy event.
Excellent. Thanks very much.
Thank you.